Toki, me and Andy. Sina, pilin, seme? Hello, my name is Andy. How are you? Let's talk about the Toki Pona language. Toki Pona. Toki Pona is a philosophical and artistic constructed language built for minimalism. With only 14 phonemes, 9 consonants, pa, ta, ka, sa, ma, na, la, ya, wa, and 5 vowels, a, e, I, o, u, and stress falling invariably on a word's initial syllable, realized through greater loudness, length, or pitch. It has no diphthongs, no contrastive vowel length, no tone, and no consonant clusters except those beginning with a nasal coda. A word's first syllable takes the shape optional consonant, vowel, optional n, with subsequent syllables requiring the initial consonant, yielding 4 permissible types: consonant vowel n, vowel, and vowel n. The sequences wu, wo, yi, ti, and their nasal final counterparts are prohibited, as is a syllable final nasal preceding m or n within the same words. Because the inventory is so small, it tolerates wide allophonic variation. Pa, ta, ka may surface as ba, da, ga, sa as za or sha, la as ra, and the written n may be realized as any nasal, normally assimilating to what follows. Grammatically, it is isolating, subject, verb, object, and head initial, with no inflection whatsoever. The particle li introduces the predicates, the direct object, p regroups 2 or more modifiers into a unit, la fronts a context phrase, and o marks the vocative and imperative, and li is dropped when the subject is bare me or sina. Content words belong to no traditional part of speech. Position alone determines role, so moku is eat after li, food in a noun slot, and edible as a modifier. Every word is polysemous. Suli covers big, long, and important. And complex meaning is assembled by combination, as in yan pona, or good person, or friend, or pana esona, give knowledge, or teach. The consequences are visible in the closed semantic fields, just 5 color terms, with lasso spanning both blue and green, and a numeral system whose simplest form has only 1, 2, and mute. Extended additively in Lang's book by Luca, or 5, mute, or 20, and ale, 100, in a way that is deliberately impractical for large quantities. Proper nouns cannot stand alone, but must modify head. Makanata, yan lisa, making them functionally proper adjectives. Lexically, it is a posteriori, roughly 15% Tokpisin, 14% Finnish, 14% Esperanto, 12% Serbo-Croatian, 10% Acadian French, 9% Dutch, 8% Georgian, 5% Mandarin, and 3% Cantonese, with 14 words or 12% directly from English, though transparent cognates raise the English accessible portion to about 30%. Toki Pona was created by Sonja Lang, formerly Sonja Ellen Kisa, a Canadian translator and polyglot born in 1978 in Moncton, New Brunswick, who grew up in a bilingual household, a French-speaking mother and English-speaking father, and became fluent in 5 languages, including Esperanto, which is what drew her to language construction in the first place. In 2001, while experiencing depression, she began the project as a way of simplifying her own thinking and published an early version online that year. It gained traction quickly. In the first community formed in a Yahoo group she created, which ran from roughly 2002 to 2009, before migrating to a PHP BB forum. The name is itself a compact etymological record. Toki descends from Tokpisin tok, ultimately English talk, and Pona from Esperanto bona, ultimately Latin bonus. The design draws on pigeons, Taoist philosophy, and the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, and Lang has described being struck by the question of what it would be like to encounter the words as a person in nature, interacting with things in a primitive way. The lexicon had reached 118 words before the first book. The 2014 Toki Pona, The Language of Good, Lipupu, fixed the standards at 120 main words plus 3 presented as synonyms, and French, German, Esperanto, and Persian editions have since appeared. In July 2021, Lang published Toki Pona Dictionary, Lipuku, a two-way dictionary of more than 11,000 entries documenting usage gathered from polls on the Mapona Pi Toki Pona Discord server. It adds 16 nimikusuli attested by at least 40% of respondents, plus 45 nimikulili falling below that threshold. Several words removed at the pu stage, leko, monsuta, kipisi among them, had retained enough community currency to be readmitted as nimikusuli, while mayuna and pata did not. Institutional recognition came slowly. After requests rejected in 2008 and 2017, the identifier TOK was adopted on 20th of January 2022, following a third application filed in August 2021. In February 2024, Lang released a Toki Pona edition of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the first of a planned illustrated series known collectively as Lipusu. Speaker estimates remained modest and contested. Lang put fluent speakers at around 100 in 2007, while the largest Discord server has exceeded 10,000 members, and the 2022 Toki Pona census drew 1,931 respondents. Toki Pona is written most commonly in the Latin script, using just 14 letters: a, e, I, ya, ka, la, ma, na, o, pa, sa, ta, u, wa, whose values match the IPA. So J is English Y, and the vowels resemble those of Spanish, Modern Greek, or Modern Hebrew. Capitals are reserved exclusively for proper names, and ordinary words stay lowercase even sentenced initially. Beyond the Latin alphabet, many alternative scripts have been devised, of which 2 logographic systems are the most successful and widespread, and both appeared in Toki Pona, The Language of Good. The first, Sitalan Pona, or Simple Writing, is a logography devised by Lang herself and first published in the 2014 book, in which each word has its own syllable. Glyphs for a modifying adjective may be nested inside or stacked above the symbol of the word they modify, a containment mechanism that gives the scripts a genuinely nonlinear dimension, and one that has since carried a full book since the 2024 Wizard of Oz edition is written in it. The second, Sitalan, or John Writing, also called Sitalan Sui, is the work of Jonathan Gable and is a mixed system, a nonlinear script combining logography with an abugida used for spelling out syllables, particularly in proper names whose deliberately elaborate glyph designs are intended to slow the writer down and make the medium itself part of the reflection. Its overall aesthetic draws on West Coast comics artists such as Jim Woodring and East Coast graffiti artists such as Kenny Scharf, while individual characters borrow principles from Egyptian hieroglyphs, Linear B, Chinese characters, Maya script, Mi'kmaq hieroglyphs, Dongba symbols, and early pagan and Christian sign systems. Modern digital support extends this further. The Link to Projects dictionary records a UCSR private use code point for each Sitalan Pona glyph, Pakala for instance at U plus F1948, alongside emoji-based renderings. Manual forms exist in 2 distinct varieties, and they are not variants of one another. Toki Pona Luka is a manually coded system assigning a sign to each word and letter following Toki Pona's own grammar and word order, whereas Luka Pona is a separate naturalistic sign language with its own SOV grammar, greater iconicity, classifier constructions, use of signing space, and loans from natural sign languages. It is the more widely used of the two, and Lang recommends it over Toki Pona Luka in the Toki Pona dictionary. In the next part, let's listen to the beautiful sounds of their language. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Nanpawan, yanali li kamalon, likan pali ewileona, liyo esuli sama ekansama, ona liyo esona, pilin pipona ike. Nilaona liwile pali tawa yanante kepeken nasin piyan sama. Numbers 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, Luka, Luka 1, Luka 2, Luka 2, 1, Luka 2, 2, Luka Luka, Nanpa 1, Nanpa 2, Nanpa 2, 1, Nanpa 2, 2, Nanpa Luka, Nanpa Luka 1, Nanpa Luka 2, Nanpa Luka 2, 1, Nanpa Luka 2, 2, Nanpa Luka Luka. Greetings and phrases. Toki, tenpo suno pona, tenpo suno pona, tenpo pimeya pona, olape pona, sina pilin seme, mi pilin pona, sina pilin seme, tenpo suli la milukin ala esina. Mimi sina liseme, miyan, sina moku ala moku, sina tanma seme, mi tanma, mi pilin ponatan ni mi kama sona esina, sina toki ala toki kepeken toki pona, lon, ala, pona, ike ala, mi oli na sina, mi sona ala, mi pakala, o, kenla, mi ken. Mi kenala, mi tawa, tawa pona, tenpo kamala miluken esina. Vocabulary. Akesi, ala, alasa, ale, anpa, ante, anu, awen, en, esun, iyo, ike, ilo, insa, yaki, yan, yelo, yo, kala, kalama, kama, kasi, ken, kepeken, kili, kiwen, ko, kon, kule, kulupu, kute, la, lape, laso, lawa, len, lete, li, lili, linya, lipu, loye, lon, luka, lukin, lupa, ma, mama, mani, meli, mi, miye, moku, moli, monsi, mu, mun, musi, mute, nanpa, nasa, nasin, nena, ni, nimi, noka, o, olin, ona, open, pakala, pali, palisa, pan, pana, pi, pilin, pimeya, pini, pipi, poka, poki, pona, pu, sama, seli, selo, seme, sewi, cielo, sike, sin, sina, sinpin, sitelen, sona, soweli, suli, suno, supa, suwi, tan, taso, tawa, telo, tenpo, toki, tomo, tu, unpa, uta, utala, walo, wan, waso, wawa, weka, wile. Sample text. Kontawa en suno liutala toki. Ona wan li toki ani. Mi wawanan pawan. Ona ante li toki sama. Tenpo nila. Ona tuliluke na yan tawa. Yani li tawa lonasin. Liwelen suli. Lon siyelo ona. Ona tuli toki ani. Sina wekaelen. Tanya ni lon tenpo nan pawan la. Sina wawanan pawan. Tenpo kamala, kontawa li open pali, kepeken wawa aleona. Taso, kon likama wawa mutela, yan tawali yawen wawa elenona, lon si eloona. Nila, kon tawali, kenala weka elen, lipini e paliona. Nila, suno liopen pana e suno wawa. Tenpo lilila, yan tawali kamaseli, liweka elenona, tan si eloona. Nila, kon tawali kamasona eni, suno liwawa mute, ni wawa lili. The Wren. Tenpo pinila, kulupupi waso lili, lilon tomo pilo ilo tawa. Tenpo wanla, mama tuli tawa sewi, liweka tantomo. Ona liwile ala sa emoku, tawa waso liliona. Nila waso lilitaso, liawen lon tomo. Tenpo lilila, mama mia likama sintawa tomo. Ona litoki ani, seme likama loni, waso lili mio. Iyo seme lipakala e sina ale lipilin monsuta. Ona litoki ani, mama o. Tenpo lilipinila, iyo monsuta suli, likamalon po kami. Lukinona liike mute, liutalamute. Ona lilukin na yin sa pitomo mi, kepekenoko suliona. Nila mi pilin monsuta mute. Mama mia letoki ani. Mi sona. Ona litawa maseme, waso lili litoki ani. Ona litawan palonasi ni. Mama mia litoki ani. O awen. Mi tawalon monsiona. Waso lili mio, o pili ni keala. Mi kama yo eona. Nilaona litawa sewi, liala sa e ioni. Nasin liantela, mama mia lilukin e soweli suli. Soweli nilitawa lo nasin. Taso mama mia lipilin monsuta ala. Ona likamalon monsiona, liopen toki utala. Sina kama tawa tomo mitan seme? Sina pana ipilin monsuta tawa, waso lili mitan seme? Soweli likute ala eona, liawen tawa. Nila waso pikala mamute, litoki utala, kepeken wawa mute sin. Mi toki tawa sina kenala lon tomo mi. Sina kama sinla, sina luke niyo ike, mi wili ala palieni. Ona litoki, lipana ino kawanona tawa sewi, taso lon tenpo lilila, miken pakalay mon si sina, kepeken no kami. Nilaona litawa sewi, likama sintawa tomo ona. Ona litoki ani, waso lili mio, mi pana eso na tawa ona. Ona likama alasin. The Lord's Prayer. Mama mio, sinalon masewi, nimi sina o sewi, masina o kama, wile sina o kamalon, sama masewila, niolon ma, tenpo suno nila, o pana e pantawami, o weka e pakalami, samani mi weka e pakalapianante, o lawa ala emi, tawa na sinike, taso weka emitanike, olon,